بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
At that time, the Arab population was very significant in Dearborn, but for South Asians, the numbers were quite low. And most of our exposure among ourselves was between the professionals, primarily the physicians and the engineers. As we moved out, in 1968 were the riots in Detroit, and major portion of the Detroit population moved out of the city.
Our focus was the northern side of the Detroit suburbs. At the time, we used to go to Albanian Center, which was too far on the east side, or the Dix Masjid, which was too far on the south side. And most of the community that we had, we were in Sterling Heights at the time, and the others were in Troy, Bloomfield Hills, and that area. So we were looking to target a place in a 15-mile radius north of those suburbs. And that's how we focused on this particular location where we have IAGD now.
There was an evening school started for the children in Sterling Heights near Brother Hosseini's place. And then we felt that was a little bit bigger need. Now it's a coincidence in many ways that as I finished my training, Dr. Ansari had moved into Troy, and I was looking for a house, and he said, come to our subdivision, there is one of the model is on sale. So we lived in the same subdivision, and there was this street which had about 12, 13 houses, and behind it was a farm. That farm came up for sale because his owner died, and the wife wanted to sell it. So we were sitting, it was Dr. Abdul Rauf and myself, and we thought of, why don't we just actually get this farm and build a mosque. So we suddenly called up Dr. Ansari, and he called up all of our other friends like Habib and Dr. Akbar and Taki and so forth. And we asked Brother Taki to go and check about the availability of that facility. It turned out that the city of Troy wanted 50 feet of easement on each side, and that place was only 102 feet wide. But it gives us an incentive from that to start looking for additional places and looking for a masjid. And it was the cohesiveness and the close-knit group that actually was excited about it and spent day in and day out to work for it.
Mushtaq Bhatti, this was a physical therapist, lived in downriver area. When we were looking for these mosques, not yet even had the name or anything selected for the center, he immediately picked up his checkbook and wrote a $200 check. It didn't have a name, it was just a blank check. He said, yes, this is my check for the mosque. And interestingly enough, Dr. Malik took that check after we had the name selected and started our account with that check. The very first Imam was Imam Umar Khabir. All the Imams we had were English speaking, with the idea that our children who are going to be here, they should not be handicapped with having just an Oriental Imam here.
The first treasurer for the IAGD was Mr. Abdul Rauf. One day he came and handed over the books. He said, you are the next treasurer. And that was it. And I was there for almost 10 years as a treasurer. But the thing is, it was a very simple accounting system we had. We didn't have the sophisticated computers or anything. And one sheet of paper tells you everybody who paid how much. And I think the budget was about 50, 60,000, maybe close to 100,000 at that time. When we had a meeting, fundraising, nobody was allowed to have any other function. I think our biggest priority at that time was the education of our kids and the exposure to the Islamic ways. And we didn't have any place to do that. That's why the idea of IAGD came into existence.
Our initial attempt to have a place was actually in Warren, and the Warren city did not allow us to build the masjid. In Avon Township, you did not need zoning for masjid. You could build it at any place as long as you fulfilled the city requirements. It cost us $49,000. I think everybody was excited about it, wanted to contribute to it, and there was one single goal. It wasn't anything else other than having a center, and we worked for it. If it required longer hours, we had long meetings, short meetings, evening meetings, night meetings. So whatever we could do to bring everybody together and have the project going on.
When we started the organization, we had around 15 members. Originally, when we started the organization, we had the board of directors, which was 9 members, and it was tiered, so 3 members would be elected each year for a term of 3 years. The Board of Trustees came into existence in 1982. Constitution of the IAGD was worked on by several brothers. We looked at different constitutions from organizations around the country, and we finally worked it out. The committee included Dr. Ansari, Dr. Malik, Dr. Athar Abdul Qadir, Brother Khudrat Ali, Brother Siraj Ahmad, the architect, and I also was involved in it. We started in 80 and completed in 82, because that's when during the Ramadan of 1982, we had our first Salat performed in the current masjid.
Khurshid Qureshi and the Sharif Jindi, they were involved in the youngsters' activities, and they were the people who started the Al-Hilal camp every year. The children got together, they started their own organization under the umbrella of IAGD as a MYGD. So that's how we were hoping to train our children to take up the positions of responsibility.
Well, there are tons of challenges. There are personal challenges. Do you have time? Do you have resources? There are community challenges. When we were small, we breathed together. As you grow bigger, it's very hard to keep everybody on the same focus. And yes, some people may have certain ideas, other people have similarly valid ideas. But can you incorporate those into those ideas? That becomes a challenge. And cohesiveness and a focal process is very, very critical.
It's possible that the Azan was given by Sharif Gindi and the khutbah was given by Sayyid Salman, and they alternated.
We made 2 or 3 decisions which were very fundamental. One, that this would be a place for the whole family. We're going to develop all the facilities and so forth where men, women and children, the whole family is going to be catered to. Secondly, to be inclusive of everyone, particularly the young children. Our working language is going to be English, even though we spoke Urdu and other languages. And that's how the place worked, and this was our primary focus. This was the idea that extended into having gymnasium, a place for the kids, having vibrant kitchen and so forth. All these things were done so that it would be supporting the whole family.
As the community grew, it was difficult to keep touch with everyone on phone, and we had to spread the word about the gatherings that we were having and so forth. So I started the newsletter. That was in the fall of 76 or 77, I believe, is when I started doing that. So that's how the newsletter got started. And alhamdulillah, after that, it was published once every month. And that's how people started. This was before internet or anything was there. This was a time when communication was still by and large by telephones.
Everybody used to come to our house, and then we put the newspaper together and stapled it and labeled it and started to send it out. And it was a really nice feeling to have everybody work together. We were all on the same page and very close-knit, and I hope it will continue.
There came the concept of monthly dinners. This was promoted by Dr. Abdul Rauf, and we started in September of 1978. The organization was started in April of 1978.
We didn't have any experience at that time. First, we were doing the meetings in the houses. We would meet in the house, and we would make, adults will have their own tafsir class, and in the back the children would get educated in Islamic studies, and we would offer our houses to be used, and there were few people, and it was not difficult for us to handle it, and we would cook in our houses for whoever is coming, and that's how it started actually.
When we started the dinners, we needed to have more people come and attend the dinners, and me and Parveen used to divide some yellow pages and look into, see who is the Islamic name or something like that, identifies them like that, and call them up. And we used to have those addresses from the yellow pages. Atharva used to print those labels, and we used to send those letters whether we knew them or not.
We contacted ADP, and they wrote the program. And at that time, the bank was Michigan National, where our account was. And they were also very helpful in setting up the Check-O-Matic system. And after that, the Check-O-Matic, once we started here, then we did it for Unity Center and the and the western suburbs also.
What made the IAGD a successful undertaking? There are multiple reasons for it. One reason is the community itself in the beginning was so collegial with and so united and so interested in the project that they participated with their heart and mind and money.
So we are very lucky to have our pioneering members who have worked very hard and we should recognize their worth and be thankful to Allah for such dedicated people.